Hi guys, so I was recently at Walmart picking up other things, and of course, as always, if you walk by the, appliances area, there's always something that catches your eye. So, funny enough, I was looking for a kettle. If I find one, great. If I don't, whatever. But when I was walking through there, I had seen this guy. Actually, I saw that guy first, and I went ahead and grabbed it. I'll talk about this in a minute. They're both for my RV, but of course, they're for home use and things like that, or whatever it might be. Whatever your use for it would be, right? So, in today's video, I'm going to try out this beautiful Barrymore 1 liter electric gooseneck kettle. Scares me a little bit because I feel like this is metal and I'm like, how hot is that going to be? Hopefully this handle is obviously cool to the touch. We will see. I also picked up this Gourmet steam espresso maker. In the RV I usually use my little mocha pot or like those little Italian espresso kind of makers, and that's great, but I really miss having a little machine like this. I used to always have a Mr. Coffee one. In my old channel I had a video on Mr. Coffee and it had like almost 1 million views because it's a cheap machine. It's like $39.99. It's always $39.99. Apparently now this Gourmet is the one that they carry at Walmart. So both of these guys will be linked right here in this little shopping bag. If YouTube is still doing that when you watch this, they're always changing things up. It might be a year later and you're watching this. I don't know. But those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. I'm super familiar with a machine like this. The Mr. Coffee one, I had like 2 or 3 or 4 of them because whenever we would move, my husband in the military, he's a Marine, and it would just be something that either I would take with us, I wouldn't take with us. I'm like, it's looking kind of rough. I'll just get a new one, so we would, give it away basically, because it's not that they didn't work. I just didn't choose to bring it with me. And now in my house, I have the DeLonghi machine that is couple $100 machine, I guess, and that video also has a ton of views on it. And I always get questions like, why didn't you read it first and then do a review? It's because here on my channel I unbox things and I go for it. So whatever you would typically do, that's what I'm doing. Right? Although I do know about these machines because also when I was in college I worked at a coffee shop for a couple of years, several years, seasonally, and otherwise I would be working at places like with optometrists. So that's another thing I have under my belt. But anyway, so today we're not going to do the steam espresso maker. I will follow up very shortly because I'm going to make both videos today, but I'll release one today and one the next day or whenever. I'm super familiar with this machine. I really wanted something that froths and all that stuff too, so that's why I grabbed this for the RV. Also, these are plug-in. Obviously in the RV I have, a stove. I have a little 3-burner stove, but if you don't have to use your propane and you have shore power, then, you might as well plug it in, right? So that's what I wanted these guys for. And also that leaves my stove, they're not huge, right? Open for cooking, eggs and bacon and all the other things I would cook in the RV for breakfast time. So today we're going to look at this guy. Let's check it out. I know Barrymore also has, I think, a machine that's kind of like an espresso type of machine. Nespresso, not espresso, but a coffee maker. I didn't see it there and I wasn't interested in that anyway. I don't really care for using pods and stuff that I'm going to throw in landfills more than just this kind of thing. So let's check it out. So we'll make some tea. I haven't had my tea this morning yet, so that's good. All right, well, let me clear this guy out. We'll focus on the beautiful 1 liter electric gooseneck kettle. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea anything about this one. So it says it has 1 liter capacity, makes 5 cups of tea, no spill, easy pour spout. I do like that way that looks. Stainless steel interior, so durable and long lasting. Stainless steel interior, I don't know what the exterior, you think it's the same material, but that's kind of an interesting way to do that. Precision in every pour. So let's open this guy up. I love this color. It's called white icing. I didn't see any other colors. Maybe they have it in different colors. I don't know. Right now in store, that's what they had. So let's open that up. It's packaged really nicely. It was the last one, so hopefully it's not too messed with or anything. It looks like it was fine. I don't think anyone took it home and brought it back or anything like that. It has some info. We have our lid here. Well, I'll open these up in just a minute. And then the base. What I was trying to figure out, I'm like, why does this say that it's cordless? But hello, I guess this is cordless, but I'm like, how do you charge it then? Or how do you use it? Obviously it has a cord. So I was trying to read that on the outside and all the images don't even show anything about a cord, right? Even here, you don't see a cord anywhere. And then it says cordless, cordless power base. See, even that. What? Like, I don't, okay. No spill, long lasting, soft matte premium finish. It does look really pretty. I will say it's very elegant looking. 1 touch of boil indicator light lets you know the kettle is on. Okay. So those are all the parts. Obviously we're not going to submerge this or anything like that, so this I would just plug in when we're ready to plug it. Again, kind of a short cord. That's typical of appliances because they don't want you to string it across the way and then you walk by and like knock it over or whatever might happen, right? So it needs to be pretty close to the electrical socket. Of course you can put an extension cord. I'm not saying you should, but that's something to think about. I will plug that in just a minute. Let's look at this guy. It is very pretty. It has a little bee on there. Very delicate little feet, I would guess, because it's basically going to nestle on this guy, right? I don't know if it matters how you place it. It looks like it doesn't, in my opinion. I don't know that it has to go one way or the other. I think it just sits on there. Obviously, when you have water in here, it's going to push it down. And then that's, I guess, your on and off or something. Can't tell if that's a scratch or if that's the paint chipped there. We'll check that out in just a moment. Kettle. I will rinse this. It's a little rough here on the very edges. Like, I don't know if I care for that. The paint, it just ends. I can't tell if it's like enamel kind of paint or something that's going to start chipping more and more. We will see, but it just, here it's a little bit more well done. Here it just seems like, I don't know. I don't know about that. And then there's the inside. You know, obviously that's how the heat gets through the whole thing there. It looks really nice. I'm just trying to see if that's a chip or if, I can't tell. It's not coming off, so I feel like it's chipped paint, but we will see. And then our lid. So what I'm going to do is just rinse this out, wash it really quickly just so everything's ready to go, and then we'll put in some water and get it boiling. Since I rinsed this right now, I was washing it, I realized that there's like electrical things under here, so I try not to get the water there. I try to focus just up here and pouring it out. Try to get whatever gumminess or whatever was stuck on here away. I might make a pot and then throw it out and then do another pot because I don't know, I'm just a little scared. I feel like the paint can chip on us, but anyway. Safeguards. Do not touch hot surface. Use the handle. That's what I'm saying. I feel like the whole pot is going to be really hot. It's just metal, which, I mean, obviously that's any kettle. Let's see. Not intended for use by kids. It's not a toy. Children should be supervised. Notes on the plug. Notes on the cord. Yeah, it says you don't want to immerse the power base. Let's see. I want to see if it says anything. Plasticizer warning to prevent plasticizer from migrating to the finish of the countertop or table. Oh, okay, yeah. Place non-plastic coasters or placemats between the appliance. And what they're talking about is this. You know, sometimes a lot of companies say that, and I'm assuming this plasticky thing, it just lets off stuff. Or if you always leave it there and you don't move it for a long time, it can either stick or leave like residue behind. So that's what they're talking about. So, you know, put that on something to guard from that. Carefully unpack the kettle lid and power base. Before first use, boil 2 to 3 kettles full of water, discard water. So that's basically what I was saying. I'm probably going to do that just because it seems like that's what I should do. So we will do that. Dry kettle inside and out with a damp cloth until use. Wipe the power base with the dry cloth. Your beautiful gooseneck kettle is ready for use. Okay. Power base should be on the flat surface. The slant helps you pour your coffee. And the kettle may be used with the power base provided. Never fill the gooseneck when it's positioned on the power base. Oh, they're saying put the water in and then obviously bring it over. Don't operate without water, of course. Add the lid to the kettle. Make sure the lid is secure before heating. And don't use it without that. And whatever. I'm trying to read if it says that you can wash the very base. I feel like you're not supposed to. Okay. I mean, you should only be boiling water, so I guess that's not the biggest deal. All right, well, I'm just going to put in some water from the tap because I don't care about this water. I'm going to throw it out. So there's your max fill where this little thing is. So I'm going to fill it up. I'll be right back. Right under that max little line. It's very pretty, but I will say it's kind of a bummer that it looks like it already has a little chip in the paint and then possibly a scratch right here in this front part. I know it's hard to see. There you go. And then this, I feel like it's a chip. You know, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put the lid on. You know, It's a little bit wet from when I washed it, and that's fine. And I'm going to plug it in. Let's see that way. Did that make my lights flicker? It did for some reason. Okay. And I'm just going to press that down. That's interesting. So when I pressed it down, I'll bring it over here. It stayed down. It wasn't just like pressed down and then it pops back up just to, you know, because you pressed it. So I don't know if it just stays down the whole time or what, but there we go. I hear it. Can you hear it? Made a little funny noise. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit closer to it. I'm going to try and see about how long it takes to heat up. I'm gonna look at the time. It's 9:50, and then we'll see what happens there. Scan to register your product and access to Drew's favorite recipes. Okay. How to obtain a warranty service, descaling. Yeah, that's going to be something we think about. It does have storage under the little plate, the base. You're just going to wrap it around, so that's good. Never store the kettle while the power base is still plugged in. Okay. Unplug the kettle, allow it to cool, and then you can put up the cord. All right, well, we pushed it down. It says on-off switch will illuminate. The Gooseneck kettle heats water. Yep, it's doing it. It feels warm to the touch already. It's only been like, what, maybe 30 seconds a minute. The kettle can be removed from the power base at any time. Lift the illuminated on-off switch upwards to turn the kettle off. The on and off switch will darken. What I was wondering is, does it pick up as soon? Oh yeah, okay, so see, as I picked it up, it clicked off anyway. I was wondering, like, is it latching down? But no, it doesn't like hold it down, but you can also just turn it off and then take it up. Okay, so let's turn it back on. And again, I will let you know about how long that takes. I will say while this is doing its thing, it says it has a boil dry protection. So the safety thermostat will automatically turn the kettle off whenever the kettle is without sufficient water, or if the kettle is allowed to boil dry. So it says to reset that, because it's just not going to start back up. It just says remove the kettle and let it cool for at least 15 to 20 seconds. Obviously add water and then restart it. Never add water into a heated kettle. So if it's still pretty hot, it says not to do that. And I'm sure they're saying not to do that because when you add it, there might be a reaction with the cold and the heat, but also maybe steam is going to build up right when it's in your hand and maybe you get burned. So you hear it? It has been 2.5 minutes. Okay. I don't want to touch it, but I'm with my hand kind of close. It's almost touchable. I wanted to see how hot it felt. I probably wouldn't touch it anymore after that though, because it feels pretty hot. It has little steam areas up here. I'm going to turn to the front so you can see that. And I guess you're supposed to know when it's ready. Let me see if it turns a different color. No, it doesn't really say. It makes a little over 4 cups of coffee or tea at a time. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Okay, well, still waiting. Let's see, I feel a little steam coming up out of here. It's pretty hot now. I'll be back. So I don't know that this color changes, so I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm assuming to see steam. Oh, you see some steam now? I see steam. I don't see it coming out of this, but I do see it here, and maybe you don't see it, sorry. Here, you can hear it boiling. And it's kind of moving, do you see that? Okay, I'm gonna turn it off because that's really boiling. I'm gonna open it and we're gonna take a temperature just to see how hot. This is very cool to the touch, no problem there, so that's good. Let's open this up. It is definitely boiling. Let me show you in there. So I know with tea, it's not really supposed to get to the boiling point, so I want to see how hot this is. It's already stopping, like, the bubbles are less angry. Let's see. All right, buddy. It shot up to 196, 204, 204, 208. I'm sorry if you can't see that. 208. Let's say it'll probably be like at 210. That's pretty hot. So I think if you're going to use this for tea, maybe you want to stop it before you really hear that boil. let me pour this into a cup. Well, actually, I'm going to pour it completely out, but I'll show you what it looks like when you pour it into a cup. And I'm probably going to pour this down the drain upstairs, to be honest, my boys' bathroom. For some reason in their bathroom, like the hot water gets the least hot, like as anywhere else, because it's the furthest away from the hot water heater, I guess. And I like to pour hot water down their drain every once in a while just to really clean that out. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. And now we're going to do this. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pour that out, and then I'm going to do it 2 more times because it says you want to do 3 or 4, you know, full kettles. Pour them out before you actually use it. So I'm just going to pour them out and I'll be back. So really quickly, that took, I would say, 6 minutes to get to the really super boiling. I would probably stop it at 5 minutes, to be honest. I think it boiled way hotter. I want to say tea water should be like 140, 160. I don't remember right now, but definitely not 210. You know, you're making some instant hot coffee or something, then that's fine. I will say after, when I was pouring it, when I was getting down to the last drops, if I had it this way, and I don't know if there's a certain way it should be on here, it started pouring a little bit. Like the smallest drips came out of this top part, and that's pretty much what got in there, I think. Just a few little drips, but this does pour very, very nicely. It just kind of comes out. So I think you're also gonna have to pay attention to that when you're pouring that into your teacup, right? Because it's gonna go whoop, like... So we'll keep an eye out on that. So again, I'm going to do this 2 more times. So I'm going to let it boil, pour it out, and then add some more, let it boil, and then we'll try it out with some actual tea. Yeah, so there's no indicator that tells you it's boiling other than just hearing it and seeing the steam come out, right? Okay. It says you can remove it any time, obviously, so that's why I said if it takes about 6 minutes to get that full rolling boil, I would probably stop it around 4:30, 5 minutes. I would just take it off and use it for my tea. And then as far as getting wet, remember I was saying, it says never immerse kettle body, power base, cord, or plug in water or other liquids. And it does say when you're done, just kind of rinse it out, dry it, and then for the next day, right? To avoid the formation of scale, that's what I was saying, it says to go ahead and rinse it and wipe it down. Never use scouring pads or harsh cleaners to clean your kettle, as they may damage the stainless steel finish. So, of course, we all understand that. And then it says just not to touch it anymore after it starts heating up, you know, but like I said, it gets pretty hot. I wouldn't recommend touching it, but, you know. And also, I stopped it as soon as it was boiling. If it's just sitting there boiling, apparently it'll keep doing it until it evaporates and then it turns itself off. So the water's just going to get, in my opinion, hotter and hotter and hotter. How could it not, right? So, okay, 3rd batch. I'm going to pour that out and then we'll make ourselves some tea. I'm going to say, I walked out of the room to do some other things and I could hear it boiling or whatever, you know. And when I came in right now, it is off. So... I know I mentioned earlier that it probably just keeps boiling and boiling and gets hotter and hotter. It looks like once it reaches a certain boiling state, it just turns off. So that's great, because otherwise, I don't know. But then why would it... Anyway, it doesn't matter. The instruction, maybe something happens and it keeps boiling. I don't know. But yeah, it's off now. Not super hot, but... I don't know how long to tell you. I think if you let it go 6 or 7 minutes, then it turns off on its own, because I would say that's about the amount of time I left, and I could hear it kind of boiling, and I came in here and it turned itself off. So that's good. So it doesn't have an indicator light like red, it just stops boiling. Okay, well, let me pour this out and let's make some tea for the next one. Really pay attention at the beginning to really clean this off. It had some stickiness, like probably some kind of machining thing where they cut it. I don't know. It just had a lot of stickiness around there. Got that taken care of. This scratch hasn't gotten any worse. This isn't peeling or anything with the heat of it, you know, after a while maybe, but for right now it looks okay. This guy got a little condensation on there, which is interesting, right here on the on and off switch. I can see didn't notice that until this 3rd one. Okay, so I do have a little water on here. Let's wipe that away. I'm gonna place this back on here. I am putting much less water because I don't need a whole kettle. I think it's up to like here, you know, and I'm assuming that'll boil faster, and we'll see if it can boil that little, because it's probably enough for like a 1.5 cups or something. Let's turn it back on. And it is 10:15, so, you know, roughly. Let's see how long it takes for it to start boiling. I'll be back. So we are learning. I mean, I think it didn't say that it just turns off on its own. It turns off on its own. It said if it's dry. So, I don't know. But also, I guess if it's ready, it'll turn off on its own. I don't know. I can hear it already, and it hasn't even popped over to 10:16 yet. Vanilla chai, my favorite. Actually, the first time I tried this is because one of my subscribers sent it to me in a swap, and I've been buying it ever since. So good. You can hear it. I'm gonna take a peek because I'm nosy. Not bubbling yet. Okay, I'll be back probably at 10:17, see where we're at. And I don't really need it to completely boil, but you know, it's kind of hard to gauge that when you have so little water. So I can hear it boiling. I don't see it steaming yet, but again, I don't really want it to completely boil. But I mean, that's pretty steamy. And it's boiling at the very base. I think that's probably good enough for my purposes for making tea. And that took all of, I would say, 2 minutes. So now it's going to keep boiling. So I'm going to turn it off because I don't really want it to boil completely. Let's take that off of there. Let's move this guy back and let's see how we get into this pour spout. Okay. Obviously I have much less than a full tank here. Oh, there it goes. You know why? It's because earlier I was pouring from way up high and then it's harder to tell what you're doing. So let's go. It is very pretty. It is very elegant, I will say. That's probably enough. I like to top mine off with milk. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does it boil water? Yes, it boils water. I guess that's what we're down to. The water does look nice and clear. I know sometimes if I just boil water, it looks kind of like white sometimes or something, but that's beautiful and clear and really nice. I don't know if you can see that. All right, well, let me let that steep. I'm gonna empty this guy out, dry it off and all that, and now I'll be back. So as that's steeping, all I did was rinse this out. There's still some liquid in there. Now what I said is when I pour it completely, like, you know, some of the water came out from under the lid, just very little. But you don't actually have to tip it that way. I was just trying to get rid of the water, right? We had just rinsed it out, or the first 3 or 4 batches, right? This goes very low. I don't know if you can see that. It's like right at the base. So as long as you just tip it a little bit, you're going to get the water out. Now, if you're tipping it completely like this, then yeah, it's going to come out a little bit out of the top. But I don't think there's ever a scenario you're going to do that without the water just coming out here first. I was just trying to pour it quickly, so that's why that happened. But either way, I'm going to dry this as much as I can. I'll probably just leave it open too. Like this guy, I'm drying as much as I can, but you know, I can still see some little water drops in here and there, so that's just how it is. But I'll probably just leave it open, let it air dry also, and I'll be back. So I'll wipe it out as much as I can. So just, you know, learning about this guy. The water still looks really clear and beautiful, lovely, so that's nice. I mean, if you're making yourself one little cup of tea, I mean, it boils pretty quickly. A little sugar. I don't know if that's a lot for some people, but for me, that's what I consider a little sugar. Usually my coffee I put 2 teaspoons, rounded teaspoons, but now that I'm a little bit older, I do 1 rounded teaspoon, and for a tea, I do a little bit less than that. And then I always add a little evaporated milk, or, you know, milk from the gallon if I would like to, but this, because I'm Latina and that's what we like, so I'm just gonna put a little of this in there, and very pretty. Okay, well, I mean, it works. Does it boil water? Yes, it boils water. So yeah, it's really nice. It tastes really nice, I will say. So I don't know if that makes any difference for anything, but you know, there you go. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Again, the link will be there, the little shopping bag, or however YouTube wants to present that, and I'll follow up with a tutorial review of the little espresso machine. I love those kinds of machines. I know with espresso should be, you know, is measured in bars, the pressure, and you know, the higher the bar number, the better, right? But with those little machines, I think it might even be 2 bar and maybe 4 bar in the DeLonghi, and like 16 bar, like these other higher numbers you're getting with like a really professional machine, you know. Anyway, it still works. They taste great. It's fine. But anyway, I'll be back with a tutorial review on that. And this guy, I mean, so far so good. All right, I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.